Hey there, boys and girls. It's your favorite gamer girl, Nintendo Nat, and you're listening to Templar Digital Radio's On the Go reviews. And now here's your host, Brian.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back to Templar Digital Radio's On the Go reviews. I'm your host, Brian. The beauty you just heard earlier was Nintendo Nat, one of our recent bombshell profiles. If you want to know more about Nintendo Nat, come check out our interview with her at templardigital.com. Well guys, back to business. So guys, as you must know, we've been doing On the Go reviews for quite a while now, so I thought we should kick it up a little and go straight to the video game genre. A couple months ago, me and Jerome did a little discussion recording about the Mass Effect Trilogy that came out recently in November. We thought it would be a good idea to just talk about all three games one by one and tell us what are our favorite scenes, either we do Paragon or Renegade. Luckily, I've only done Paragon most of the time and I did most of the story good ways. Good thing for Jerome, he did it on all sides, so like Renegade and Paragon as a male and female, the gay relationships, the straight relationships, all kinds of decisions, and did the opposite vice versa. So he has more of an intake on the other side than I did. But so as of right now, here's pretty much the interview and the review, so guys, enjoy. Hey guys, it's Brian here from Templar Digital Radio, and today for our game review, we're reviewing the Mass Effect Trilogy. With me is my good friend Jerome Bass.
What up, people?
Today we're going to review the game, all three games from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Other than me, that's played all three games, the only person I know that knows the game more than I do is my good friend here, Jerome. So let's start.
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack. One man, one very specific man, might be all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat of our brief existence.
Humanity needs a hero, and Shepard's the best we've got.
We need to stand together. The Reapers won't stop at Earth. They'll destroy every organic being in the galaxy if we don't find a way to stop them.
Don't you understand? You've lost everyone you know and love, everyone you've ever met. You will all die. I will show you true power.
No more running and no more waiting. Let's hit them where they live.
If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
Go out there and give them hell. You were born to do this.
So, I guess the best way to do this is that we should just start from the first game, Mass Effect 1. Pretty much, to me, for my memory, Mass Effect 1 is about Commander Shepard, who gets picked by the Ambassador, Udina, and Captain Anderson to represent Earth to be the next in line for
Spectre.
the Spectre, yeah, to become a Spectre. So the whole story starts off with him, and you guys go on a mission to Eden Prime. And from there, you're with another Spectre named Nihilus, who's also following you, and you guys get to Eden Prime for the Prothean Beacon. You don't remember this at all, do you?
I remember that part.
Really?
I remember that.
And then from there, you run into the problem. You get an emergency beacon message from Eden Prime, where the Marines are fighting a big ship, which later find out it's called Sovereign, who's also a Reaper. That's what you learn about later on in the story of Mass Effect 1. But and other than that though, but see, Mass Effect 1 to me out of all three is pretty much the one that has the best story. I mean, they gradually went on to better action and gameplay in the first, and like the next one, Mass Effect 2 and 3 had better action and all than story. But still, Mass Effect 1 was better known for story than anything else because the gameplay and control sucked.
Right.
It was terrible control. It's lagged. It was slow. There was no. I mean, the cover system was good, but especially the reloading system. Because certain guns had ammo you have to buy ammo, and then you have to buy the guns. But see, also the one thing I like about it is certain people weren't trained on that gun, and it tells you right there in the bottom when you hit the scroll button and on the power wheel it says untrained. So you can give that person that gun, but that person can't do shit with it.
So that's the one thing I didn't like about it was the fact that you couldn't when they changed that option and you were allowed to play with any gun you wanted in Mass Effect 2. I thought that was a good thing, but then they changed other things that I thought really didn't need to be changed, like the whole buying ammo was harder, but the thermal clip thing, overheating, all that stuff, I think it made it harder in Mass Effect 2.
Uh-huh.
You know, like when the weapons were overheating, and it was just like, you know, I don't know, it was just a lot harder than the first one.
That reminds me, like you remember the one part where when you play the Shadow Broker DLC with Mass Effect 2, they mentioned that whole thing about, man, don't you miss when guns were just overheat as they, without the thermal clip system? And then Shepard also mentions to Liara about the hacking. Because remember in the first one, when you hack something, all you have to do is press X, Y, B, A, like playing Simon Says or whatever. And then the second one is now is you just have to connect the fucking symbols on the stupid thing, and then the third one, it's not even there anymore. You just
you
and
just
it
hit the
opens.
bang.
It's like you gradually get away from hacking, and then you go straight into like freaking just go into the game. Because I think what Bioware was trying to do is they're just trying to go straight into what do you call it, straight out more action, and then more let's stop hacking. You know, that takes a lot of time on the action. It slows the action down, and let's go straight into the battle. Because remember back then, like Mass Effect 1 and 2, is to get into that stupid locker, to get some money or credits, you have to hack it. Or
Right.
like he also mentioned that too in the DLC. He goes, oh man, don't you miss the days where all you have to do is just hit that shit with some Ami gel and boom, it opens for you?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh damn, the security got tight. And I was like, oh man, they mentioned it in that game. But anyways, back to the first one. The main enemy you guys fight is the Geth, and I like how later on in the trilogy the Geth become a bigger part, not as a bad guy, but as an ally in the second and third ones. You don't remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
like,
remember.
and then I like how when it all starts to this, they all mentions a story about. In the first one, you hear stories about how the Geth used to be controlled by the Quarians and stuff, and you hear more about it from Tali when she joins your squad later on. And then I like how by the third one, it all comes to fruition, and you see it all in the end with the Geth and Quarian, but then you take a bigger part in the whole Ranark mission in the third one. But back to the first one, because I keep going off topic on that one. Story wise, it's the best story out of all three. It made more. It felt more personal, especially when you're. It felt like especially when you after the mission at Eden Prime, you go to the Citadel, and like you were saying earlier before we started recording about your problem with the Citadel missions or the death and
Right. It was just the fact that the Citadel itself is this whole all-encompassing thing. It was just huge in the first one, and then you get to the second and third one, and they start sectioning off areas that you can go to, and you can't go anywhere else.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what it was like. I mean, you were free roaming in the first one. The first one, it was like a whole world in itself. You
Mhm.
know, and then the second and third one come around, and you just only can go to certain areas, and barely that.
Mhm.
You know,
But then by the third one, it's pretty much just where you want to go, elevator,
right.
taxi. That compared to like the first one, you said it's pretty much
Yeah, you're just running
you're running,
everywhere.
yeah, you're running around and stuff. Like, and then you had, and I always wondered, is like, what happened to the other two clubs? Because you remember you had that two nightclubs. You had, I think it was Flux in the first one and Coria's Den.
Yeah, Cora's Den and Flux.
And it always felt like the bad one was Coria's Den, and the high top nightclub was the other one. I don't think it was Flux. I think Flux was in the second one.
You sure?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But and then you had that the other two nightclubs in the second one again, or was this the one nightclub?
No, I think you had in the second one. I can't remember the nightclub in the second
I
one.
don't know. But then the third one had two or no, one? No, they only had one.
I had one.
They had that one nightclub. But the one thing about it was in the first one was the CSEC stage headquarters. You go there, it's huge. And then it gradually gets small. Like when you go in the second one, it's just that small outpost one.
Right.
And then in the third one, it was this. I don't think the third one was like a little small office in the one corner.
But it wasn't even an office. It was like right when you check in the third one. Like, oh wait.
Well, it depends which floor you go on the third one.
That's true.
Because in the floor, when you go to like where they have all the refugees, it's that one check-in area.
Right.
And then you go up, they have that one area when they do the baggage claims and all that stuff.
So I mean, they had like little areas everywhere in the third one, but they had the main office, or I should say Bailey's office, in the third one was in the Citadel Embassy.
Yeah.
And then the second one, right when you come in, like I guess when the ship lands and you get off the ship, right when you go into the little check-in process, that's where the actual office was, like going through that screening area.
Uh-huh.
But that was it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was no other office besides that.
Yeah.
You know.
And but like also like the headquarters, the CSEC headquarters is huge, humongous in the first one, and then like they just gradually down. Like same thing with the Citadel. It was like maybe, I mean, they wanted to blow your mind away when the game first came out and the Citadel's huge. Because remember when you first get there, you see the Citadel, and you see what's it called, what's the big Asari ship? The Ascension. The Destiny Ascension.
Yeah.
You see that ship and you see Citadel and you go in there and then all of a sudden you're in the Citadel and it's huge. You travel, you go walk around, not walk, you gotta run, go over there, and then it gradually gets small. And then you finally get chosen to become a Spectre, the first human Spectre, which is to me, it's like the Spectres of the Citadel is pretty much the Jedis of Mass Effect, because they're like the special forces that could get whatever they want, and the Citadel is pretty much like the government, like it was in Star Wars. I'm trying to remember the name of that in Star Wars. The Senate. They're the Senate. It's the council, and then you got the Jedi / Spectres, and then you get sent on that mission to go, and then the first mission you get sent on, you get to choose 3 areas to go first, which was Noveria, where you have to go fight the Rachni in that snow planet, and then the next one was Vermeer, which I always try to do Vermeer last, because after I played it the first time, you realize Vermeer is someone's not coming out there alive from your squad,
right?
Because that's where you have to choose between Ashley or Caden, and also you might, depending how you treat it, Rex can get killed too in that one as well. Because you have to make that choice because of the Krogan factory or whatever. But that's one of the main things I liked about Mass Effect 1 is because it was the first game of its kind, other than like if I remember like Knights of the Republic, is your decision has a consequence, and the way you treat your people of the loyalty or the renegade or Paragon, and if like. And again, I'm glad because once you get your Paragon higher, your level, it gives you that extra choice to make on your choice selection to convince Rex that what you're doing is good. So either you don't have to shoot him or someone else doesn't have to shoot him, and then you don't lose Rex.
But that's another thing that, like the game, it's like once you play the game, you can make better decisions. But before you can actually, like if you just run into those decisions and you don't have like the high Paragon or high Renegade status, it doesn't allow you to make those decisions. So then you're stuck, doing whatever generic thing they want you to do, and then someone dies because you can't, you can't convince them to live or whatever. But the mission on Noveria, when you had to do the Rachni Queen, and you had to kill Liara's mother, the matriarch,
Benezia.
That was crazy because it was like just like doing that when you're like, deciding whether or not to let this queen live and trusting her and stuff like that, the impact that has on all the games. It's like I never would have thought playing that first one would have an impact on the rest of them like that. And then she comes back and gives you that message.
With
Mass
the woman.
Effect 2 with the woman. If you let her live and all this stuff, and then she comes back in Mass Effect 3. It was crazy.
Especially when they're all being indoctrinated by the Reapers.
Right.
And it's like, but then when you free her, she does. And the thing is, you never see her at the rest of the game in Mass Effect 3 after you save her. But you do hear that there's Rachni helping build the Citadel on the
Right.
missions when you're talking to Admiral Hackett.
Yeah.
And then to give you updates. See, that's another thing that bothers me about the third one is that you get all these assets and all these ships, and you don't even see any of them in the final battle. Like,
Nah.
where's the Volus bombers that I was able to get from the guy with the Zaid shit or the what's it called? Like, did you see any of the guest ships when you brought your fleet over? I don't remember seeing any
No.
guest. Yeah, see
No.
that's another thing that got me. I was like, where's the guest fighters? Where's the guest ships? Where's the Quarian fleet? All I remember seeing was mostly Asari, Turians, and humans.
Now you saw them like when they were checking in.
Yeah, you
Like,
saw them
you
when you
saw
checking
them when
in.
you were checking in.
Yeah,
But
you
other
don't
than
see
that,
them.
you didn't see any
Like,
ships or anything.
where's the Geth fighting on Earth? Like, all I saw was Krogan, the Asari, and the Turians, and Solarians.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But, anyways, back to the first one. When you make that decision to either save Ashley with the nuke or Caden or whatever. See, the third time I played the game, that one Solarian guy, Kirky guy, whatever his name is, the Solarian guy who gave that speech, hold the line or whatever.
Yeah.
The first two playthroughs I had, he survived, and I was like, okay, he's good. He survives, but see, the third time, the last time I played it, he died, and I'm like, what the hell did I do wrong? Did I take too long to get to the thing, or whatever? And then because I remember when I played it, and by the third one, he's in the third one. Because you do know in the third one, it's like if Thane died in Mass Effect 2, it's that guy
It's
that
him who
shows
saves
up
the
that saves
council
the
member.
council member or whatever. But after I choose the decision to either go save Kaiden or go save Ashley, which obviously I'm like, dude, so I'm gonna go save Ashley. Kaiden can go to hell for all I care and get blown the fuck up. So I leave that guy all the time. But when I play the chick, I'll probably do differently. But if I play Mass Effect 1 again, I guess I'll do it differently and save Kaiden. But I don't know. To me, because I was a soldier when I was playing it, I think Ashley was a better asset to me than a biotic. Because I didn't like the biotic controls in the first Mass Effect. The biotics got better later on, the second and third. Because I switched my play over to a biotic in the third play, in the third Mass Effect. And after that, you do that mission. And the other thing was cool about it is you could choose to whoever you want to have a relationship with in Mass Effect.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Who'd you pick for in the first one?
Well, I was with Liara pretty much the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Because like, if it's good too, especially with Liara. Because if you have a relationship with Liara, especially in the second one, there's no way you could have a relationship with her until the DLC came out with Shadowbroker,
Right.
and then you could continue that relationship with her in the second. And then the third one, it's also, I mean, I think out of the two, for the male shepherd, the best relationship is either with Ashley or Liara. Either one of those two. I mean, the Miranda one is just like it's pretty much. I'm just doing it because she's hot.
Pretty much.
Yvonne Straskowski or whatever, the girl from Dexter and damn it, what was that one? Chuck.
Chuck. Yeah.
Chuck. Yeah. And then, but you have you done a playthrough as a female? Because I never done it.
Like the playthrough as a female with what in the second one?
Or all three.
The first one, I noticed that, or at least maybe I just did something differently. When I did the first Mass Effect and I did the playthrough as a female, I got I don't even know if it was a love interest or what it was, but it was the woman that gives you the message. She was Asari,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I'm talking about? Like she was like this person that knew everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you went to see her,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I'm talking about? Like
Oh, you're talking about the court court
the courtesan.
the courtesan the consort yeah.
So like
In the first one.
Yeah, in the first one, when I was the male, she didn't really. She gave me a message, but it wasn't like a whole big thing. It was whatever. But when I was a female, I went back to the room. I did all the stuff, and it was like we shared this moment. And I'm like, what did I do different? I don't know if it was like the fact that I was a female and not the male. I was just weird.
Also, did she? I remember. Remember, she gave you a trinket or whatever.
Yeah.
She said, "I don't have use for it." Does that? I thought that was gonna have a big deal in the next three, but I don't remember ever finding something about that with that trinket she gave you.
No. I didn't get anything from that either.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, maybe it might show something up, or it might be something that shows in the third one, but it never did to me in my playthroughs. So after the mission with Ilos, I mean, not Ilos, Vermeer, you go do. I'm trying to remember what happened after that, because you go back to the Citadel, I think. No, I don't remember what. Oh, I remember. In the end, no matter what, you end up going to Ilos to stop Saren, because then
Right.
oh, there you go. Because well, the mission in Vermont, back to Vermont for a minute, you meet Sovereign, the big ship that Saren's been using, and you find out that it's an actual living being who's from a big central alien race called the Reapers. And then later on, you find out, like in the next two games, that's where it's all about the Reapers and the Reapers invading the galaxy. Because every cycle, they get rid of the highly advanced races, so they can let the next
Primitive
small,
races.
yeah, primitive races grow, and that's the next cycle. And that's when you realize that your cycle is about to end, and it's pretty much the next three whole trilogies is based on Shepard preventing the Reapers of ending the cycle, basically the cycle that we're currently in. Um, after you speak to Sovereign, you fight Saren, and then that's when you make the choice either Ashley or Kaiden, and you leave. And then you later go back on. You do go back to the Citadel to get the fleet because now the fleet knows that something's gonna happen on attack of the Citadel. But then they they trap your ship. They won't let your ship leave because you're on lockdown or whatever. But then that's when Anderson goes there and punches Udina or goes to the CSEC, and then you get on that ship and then you go to Ilos. And then you go to Ilos, you find out the secrets that the Ilos is the planet that's home to a Prothean base, and that's where you see all the what were you calling it before
The stasis
yeah, the
chamber.
stasis pods
Yeah,
already that has
stasis
all the
pods.
Protheans, and that's when you speak to Virgil, the IV or the AI, and he tells you the what happened that he had to power down, the prioritize to keep power going and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and then you realize then that's when you find out that Saren has already attacked the Citadel with the Geth, and then you go on the ship, and then I don't know why. I'm trying to remember why they built that mass relay. If it wasn't for that mass relay being on that ship, oh, that's why. That's why they went to Ilos. The reason why Sarah went to Ilos is because they knew about that mass relay inside that base, and that's how they snuck into the
The
Citadel
Citadel.
to get inside to open the arms for Sovereign to get in.
Right.
Because the whole premise was that the reason why Citadel was a huge part of the first one, and Sovereign needed to get a hold of it, and Saren is because Sovereign is going to use that as a mass relay to bring
The
all
rest of
the
the Reapers
Reapers
in.
over to the galaxy, and that's why you go. Because yeah, I had to remember. And then you get into that mass relay in Ilos. You end up in the Citadel. You stop Saren, and then you stop Sovereign. But then, and then that comes another decision consequence. The Ascension has all the council members inside the Ascension, and then you're given that choice or decision whether to hold the fleet back, your alliance fleet, and let the Ascension get destroyed, and all the council dies, or you send the alliance fleet in to save the Ascension, but at a cost that all the alliance, most of the alliance people will die, the casualties
Right.
and stuff. I mean that decision carries on in the next two games. After you make that decision, you defeat Sovereign and Saren. You either choose Udina or Anderson to become the next council member because they want the humans to join the council, and that's the end of the first game because you said you're gonna do whatever you can to stop the Geth and the Reapers, and it's like that. And now to the second one, it starts off. See, the second one was a huge, drastic change from the first one. It was, I mean, the story was still good, but the action was pulled up a notch. It gave a whole new. It was like pretty much. It took like a facelift,
Yeah.
especially.
I mean, just the opening of the second one
Oh yeah,
blew you away.
yeah.
But the one thing I noticed out of all three games was I think the reason they went with the action because the first one, I think it for me the first one it seemed like it took longer, even though I played more hours in the second and third one. The first one it seemed like it took longer because there was more storyline, there was more stuff to read, and there was more stuff to like look at and stuff like that.
Oh, and you actually do explore
and you
the
actually go
planets
explore everything.
with that
Now,
stupid Mako
with
vehicle, which was like the abomination of the whole game.
but it just seemed like I think they were trying to do away from that because I don't know if people were complaining that it was taking too long to just do anything. Most people when they're playing games don't really like to read a lot, you know.
ADD. Yeah.
So it's like they just want to get to the action. So I think that's why they went straight to better action sequences. Like, and yeah, there was still storyline, but it wasn't like the first one. You know, the first one, it got you into this whole life of Mass Effect, and then the second and third one, it was the action going along with the story. You know, but the story really wasn't there because they established whatever they needed to establish in the second one
Well, I think that's
or the first one.
Yeah, well, I think that's what he did in the first one. It was like more longer and stuff and more exploring. It's because they wanted to introduce you to that universe, that world, and show you like this like a more personal outlook into it to get it to know more. And then once you did that, once you know the whole universe already, oh f that now. Now you know it.
Right.
You don't need to know it anymore. We'll just go straight into the action and go quicker paths and we'll replace that stupid Mako with a hammerhead, and now other than it rolls, it hovers, but it jumps higher.
Right.
Which I thought it was cool, but it was a pointless DLC to have the hammerhead.
Yeah.
I mean, I only the only I didn't even do the hammerhead mission just to get it. I only did the first time, but my second playthrough I skipped it, and I just went straight to the Overlord because then somehow you end up with the hammerhead. With the hammerhead
Which
when
I
you do
thought
the
was
Overlord.
crazy. I was like,
Yeah, because like I was like I didn't do the mission to get the hammerhead, but somehow the hammerhead ended up on my ship when I did the Overlord DLC. But okay, but like you said, the second one starts off with a huge crazy bang when Shepard dies.
yeah,
He dies.
that was crazy.
And I was like, I thought that was me, and now I'm dead. But then they bring you back with the Lazarus Project, and that's when you meet Miranda and Jacob for the first time. Which was crazy is that you get resurrected by the last project by Cerberus, which blew my mind away because in the first one you have your run-ins with Cerberus with certain missions with Admiral Kotaku whatever.
Yeah.
And then and then they're the ones that are doing experiments with like the Rachni and
And they were doing some human experiments too.
yeah, and then that's what was weird. And then all of a sudden they resurrect you, but then you see it differently with the Cerberus. And you're like, oh, I mean, they resurrect you. They're about humans. That's why they brought you back. But then the whole thing that kind of got me sidetracked with Mass Effect 2 was that instead of a Reapers, it was more It was a new race called the Collectors. I did that you never seen before. But but you later find out that the Collectors are working for the Reapers. You know, so it's still Reaper connected. But they brought you back because human colonies are missing. And they said the only one person that can stop the Collectors is obviously Shepard. And just another thing I liked about Mass Effect 2 is your squad is 20 times bigger than it was in the first one. You had plus with the two DLCs where you get Katsumi and Zaid.
Yeah, I think that was like the options in Mass Effect 2 were better than any other option of the first one or the third one. It was just you had so many different ways you can go with like between pick of characters. It's just the action was there, but it was the storyline that gave you the options within the action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what made it crazy because you could pick whoever you wanted to. I mean, you had like almost what seemed like 16 people, 16 almost 15, 16 characters or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. It was crazy how many people you could pick to go along with you in the missions. So
Um, yeah. So, but like also like, and the stories have gotten more better. Plus, another good thing about it is that all the decisions you made in the first one did have an effect in the second one. It carried over, especially when they're asking you like, "Oh, where you're from, where you born," and it's making you a reminder of the first one to make sure the Shepherd they resurrected is the actual Shepherd. Because they didn't just make a clone of Shepherd. They got his body and they brought it back to life or whatever. But that's another thing they added too. It's like if you choose to go renegade, your face scars worse, and you look like freaking like Two Face and shit.
I thought that was a cool feature. Like when you did Renegade, it was like you were this whole bad guy, and then like if you just went all out Renegade, your eyes got red and your face is all fucked up.
Yeah, but then in the end, Doctor Chakas gets that machine. It says, "Oh, if you put this much whatever in it, it fixes your face no matter what, no matter how bad or good you are." Uh, Another good face that got a facelift in the game was also the Normandy ship from the first one. Because the Normandy was destroyed in the beginning of the second one, the first Normandy, you get the new Normandy that was created by Cerberus.
Yeah.
And that one looks dope. The second one was
crazy,
good.
because the first one was only 2 levels. You know.
Was it 2 levels?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 3. You had the
you had the
dock,
the shuttle dock area
yeah.
in the bottom, but there was mainly just 2 levels. You know, you had the crew quarters, and you had the first one,
the bridge,
just the bridge.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, that was it. And then the SR2 Normandy came out, and it was just huge. You know, like you see the ship, and it's just like, damn, this thing is massive.
That's another thing too, is that and by the third one, it's the same ship from the second one. It's just that the Alliance got a hold of it, and they changed that ship completely over again. Got another facelift by adding the war room, and I like how with the communicator system now it's like that. Because the other 2 games where you talk to the council or whoever you need to talk to, it like the council looked like shit in the first and second one when you're talking to like the the communication room or whatever. And by the third one, it looked like a better hologram of the person you're talking to, and they changed it. And then you got the war room, which was pretty cool. But anyways, but back to the second one. The second one is you couldn't get to certain areas until you unlock that character that needs to be in that room.
Right.
Like, for example, the laboratory. You can't get into the lab until you get more than the Solarian from Omega Mission.
Right.
Or whatever. But back to the crew you get. In the first one, let's go back to the first one. In the first one, who was your favorite character to use in the out of the whole group? You had Rex, Tali, Garrus, Ashley, Kaiden. I think I'm missing one more, right? No, I think that was it.
Wasn't wasn't in there?
Oh yeah, and Liara. Like out of all of them, who was your favorite person to use?
I always, in the first one, no matter what it was, because I didn't really venture out until the whole biotic thing until the second one. Like I stayed with soldiers, so I always use Garrus and I use Rex. I always use like those 2 in any of the missions, only because I wanted power. You know, I wanted like firepower. You know, so anything I did, I wanted to make sure that there was firepower behind me. You know, so I didn't really venture out into the other characters, like at least as far as like their powers and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, like me, I usually use Rex, Garrus, or Ashley. I didn't use Liara at all.
Yeah.
I only use Liara Tali depending on the side missions. I basically use them for side missions only. Like Tali, I used for tech in the first one because I noticed too, if in the first game, if you had a high tech, especially if you use 2 members of your crew that have high tech, the Omni tool gets easier to use. The hacking
the
system.
hacking stuff.
Hacking is easier than it's easier to use than because if you use 3 people that don't have any hacking skills, yeah, you're screwed on getting to that locker. But in the second one, my favorite ones to use in the second one was Grunt. I love using Grunt, the perfect Krogan. I always use Garrus because I love Garrus as a sniper. I always put him back in the snipering. But man, there's so many in the second one because you get the thief Katsumi, the mercenary Zaid. You get Legion, Gath, which was also awesome.
Yeah.
Tali again, Garrus, Miranda, Jacob, Jack. Who else was in there? There's so many.
My favorites, as like the minute they let out the Katsumi DLC, I stayed with her. Like I got her, but I always used Jack. But before Kasumi, I used it was Jack, and I either went with Jacob or Grunt. Those 2.
Well, my favorite was Grunt. Oh, another thing too is when you use certain characters, they have funny. It depends on what mission you're doing and what area. They always have input into saying something. Like the one input I liked is when Grunt's having the urges.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I just want to punch something. I gotta do this and that. And then you go to the, and then you bring him to Rex on Tuchanka, and he goes, oh, he's going to the phase. And it's pretty much you hear Morton go, oh, puberty. Or you hear Garrus and he goes, really? Can we just take him to like Omega and buy him a lap dance? Or you hear Jack goes, oh my god, these guys going to like, and if, depending which character you bring with them, they have something to say about that one part. They're like,
Right.
oh, this guy's going to puberty. I was like, no, just give us some magazines or something, he'll be fine. Or and then it's pretty cool because he's going through like the change or whatever because he's young, he's a young Krogan or whatever, and he's getting the urges. But back to that though. Out of all the main missions in Mass Effect 2, which one was one of your favorite missions to do?
Wow, like my favorite mission.
And there's a lot because you also had the loyalty missions.
I would have. I mean, I would have to say, as far as probably Thane, like getting Thane.
Up in
Oh,
Elysium?
yeah, up in Elysium was, and the only reason I liked that one
Ilium.
so
Ilium.
much
Uh-huh.
was because of how, like, when you get introduced to Thane, you get through all that stuff, fighting all the people and
Going
getting
up
to
to the
that part.
tower.
When you actually see Thane come in, and he takes out that lady he was supposed to take out, I forgot her name,
Which was
but
also in the first one too.
yeah, she was in the
Because you
first
killed her
one.
sister.
But the way he takes them out, he's just like this straight up assassin. It's just like,
Uh-huh.
he's doing all this stuff. So I thought that one was pretty cool to
And then,
see.
and then he prays.
Yeah, then he prays for her.
And then say, "Are you praying for her?" No, I'm praying for myself for forgiveness. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, okay. That one was good. That was a good mission to get him. Because you also got the missions to get somebody. Oh, what was that one mission that was pretty good? Grunt was good because you had to go up and fight the Blue Suns.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get Grunt out of the tank. Now, I always thought about it because I always do it is when you're given the choice to either open the tank or not. Now, I always wondered what happens if you never open the tank.
I did that. You just never get them.
What? I see. I didn't know
You never
that.
get
See,
'em.
I was
It's
like,
just like selling, like when you get Legion in the second one, and Miranda says, or Jacob's telling you to space it, and then Miranda says, give it to Cerberus, and they give you all this money. There were a couple of times when I just sold it to Cerberus and got the money.
oh really? See,
Yeah.
I always open them or wake them up. I
Yeah.
never ignored it. And
Yeah, if you don't open the tank, I mean, granted, nothing he's just not there.
like he
It's
never
like he
existed.
never existed.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
So that's all it is. Like you just never do his loyalty mission. You never do anything for him because you never open the tank.
Uh huh. That's crazy. I didn't know that because I always open. I was like, what if I never did? And now you just pretty much just told me that if I did, you don't get shit. And then you go through all the missions. You do another interesting loyalty mission was Samara's loyalty mission, where you either the daughter, you have to kill her daughter, the Arakyashi.
Yeah,
The,
that one was cool just because you could replace her. I thought
Ah,
that was
see,
cool to
see that, see that was a hard moment there because when you had them both doing that little bionic like struggle
Yeah.
thing, and it goes, "Choose me, I'm stronger than my mother," and my mother goes, "No, I made an oath to you," and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, but that's another thing I was saying about earlier about having the high renegade or high paragon because if you get to that point and your paragon or renegade isn't high enough, you don't have the option to picking either one because you have to be able to fight her spell. Like when she starts talking to you and
Which
she
I
does
did.
the whole black eye
Yeah,
thing.
when I had hair purga, yeah.
Yeah, and like if it's not high enough, you're gonna succumb to her will, and you're just gonna the mom Samara is gonna have to come and rescue you pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And then when she comes to rescue you, she kills what's her name Monarith.
Morith.
Morith. She kills her, and then that's it. You leave. But if you have a high enough Paragon or Renegade, you can get out of it, and then you get to pick whichever one you want to take.
Yeah, but in the end, Morith still dies if you choose against Morith. If you choose Samara's gonna kill her no matter what.
That's true.
So
Well, no, like in the end, if you pick the one girl, and she lives throughout the whole suicide mission and everything, she still doesn't come back in the third one. Which I thought that's the only reason I let her live in the first place. You know, like if she makes it through everything, And you
Samara?
have no, not Samara, Monolith.
Uh huh.
If she makes it through everything, she still doesn't come back in the third one.
She doesn't?
No, like she writes letters. Like you see letters that she wrote to her sisters in the third one.
Uh huh.
Like when you go to the monastery and have to rescue Farella or whatever her sister's name
The
is,
two other
the two
sisters?
other sisters.
Yeah.
Like you see letters that she wrote to her sisters, but you don't actually see her at all in the third one.
Also, killing Samara, I mean, choosing Morth over Samara and Samara dying in the second one has no little effect on the third one because you never see Morth in it.
Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you have her at the end, and you can like do you can do the romance with Monolith at the end, but that's just gonna that's just gonna kill you.
It does?
Yeah. And what makes it worse is the fact that it's not even like.
So if you do a romance for Morth, you die?
Yeah, it's not even like, it's something that's cool. It's like the minute you go in to like kiss her, it says critical mission failure, and you have to start over. So it's like,
I didn't know that.
It's crazy.
That's funny. Okay, so then and then there are certain decisions you make, like when you go to like that do affect the game. Because I think decision making in the second one was huge, which had more bigger consequences than the first one.
Yeah.
Especially the second one. I mean, I think the second one was perfect by decision making, action wise, and a little bit story wise. Because you're getting these people for a suicide mission to go into the Omega 4 relay, and what happens was and then if you skip the loyalty missions, most of them are gonna die, or some of them are not gonna get back, or if you don't upgrade your ship before you get into the relay. I mean, that's another thing. Because the first time I played the game, I didn't know about the upgrades to the ship. So I went into the Mugger Free Relay, and I lost 4 people right off the bat. And I was like, fuck.
I mean, I chose to do. I mean, because I had conversations. Like I played the game throughout, and I had conversations with everyone. And they were saying, "Look, I got some ideas. This is what I think you should do, and they're here if you're ready." And it was all upgrades to the ship, shields, and whatever. And I never did it because I was like, I don't want to spend that money.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to. Not it wasn't money. It was
spend the resources.
The resources to do it. And I was like, I wanted to use the resources for weapons and anything else I got to get. So I was like, I didn't want to do it. And then you do the suicide mission, and then you can't stop it. You just see like things where people are dying left and right.
And I'm like, oh no, what I do wrong? I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, I went on YouTube and I was like,
and
I was like, huh? Those upgrades do make a difference? And I was like, shit. Another thing is, before you go on the Mega Fair Relay, the majority of the crew of the ship gets kidnapped by the collectors. And I found out it depends. If you wait a certain time, like if you do like 3 missions or over, everyone dies except Chaka.
Yeah.
Chakwas. Yeah. If you go 1 mission ahead, you do 1 mission and then you go to the Mega 4 Relay, you save everybody.
Right.
If you go 2 ahead, you lose 2 people. You lose 1 engineer, not Donnelly, the girl. You lose her and you lose someone else. The thing is though, every playthrough I had, what's her name always dies, Kelly Chambers. She always dies in every playthrough I do. I was like, there's nothing I can do. She's dead. And they always replace her with they replace her later on with that other chick, Samantha Trainer, or whatever. But okay, back to the loyalty missions. You do the loyalty.
Wait, you never had her live?
Kelly?
Yeah.
Oh, that bitch always dies on me.
No, like she
always melts. But one time I played the game, my first playthrough, you had that one girl from the colony that got kidnapped. She dies in that too. Kelly, and then so I guess I had Kelly live one time, but I just don't remember. The loyalty missions is when you had to do a mission to get that person's loyalty to you, and then they'll be ready for the mission.
Right.
Jacob's loyalty mission was pretty just you go there, you kill everyone, and that's it, you're out. And he's your loyal because you get his father out of the planet, but you arrest his father. I think Miranda had a bigger loyalty mission because you had to save her sister, who later ends up being in the third one later on.
Yeah.
With the father, and you do finally meet the father in the third one that you hear all the stuff about in the second one. Another loyalty mission, Zaid's loyalty mission is where you have to kill Vito Santiago for the Blue Suns.
See, I was hoping that would be different.
Why?
I mean, I think that the first uh, the second Mass Effect, you had a lot more responsibility as far as like the Paragon and Renegade parts. And I played the Paragon just to play it, but the Renegade was like the best part because you can go through and like Jacob does this whole thing where it's like you can let him kill his father even though he doesn't. Like you can give him the option like, oh, like you have a bullet, and then like he's like, no, I'm not gonna waste the bullet, and then he gives him the gun and he shoots himself.
See, I didn't do that either.
The father like kills himself. Like you walk away and you hear the gun go off. Like they give him like one clip, but they give it only enough power to it would only inflict damage on himself. Like he couldn't survive with the people coming after him unless you leave.
Yeah.
So he just kills himself.
And that's a Renegade one?
That's the Renegade one.
Okay.
Because
the Paragon one, don't you send ships to pick up the people too, and he goes to
like
jail?
everyone gets picked up, he gets taken to jail, stuff like that. But and then like in Zaid's mission, when you get to let him die in the fire, I thought that was cool because it's like,
Yeah, but see, to get that, you had to do a Renegade because you get that decision where the factory's on fire, and then you had that one guy who goes, "Oh, save us!" And then that's a Paragon mission. That's a Paragon side because you have to go there and save the people. But if you do that, Beetle gets away, and Zaid hates your fucking guts.
Right. So no, but like if you're doing the Renegade stuff, the Renegade towards Zaid is if you let the guy get away and you go save the people, and then he's shooting his weapon out there running, and then all of a sudden he gets away, and then the whole place gets on fire, and he gets trapped under this little column thing, whatever it was, and then he's asking for help, and you don't help him.
Zaid?
Yeah, because he's saying help me out, and you're saying I should leave you here to burn, and then like it gives you that option to leave, and he says I don't want you on my ship, and you leave, and you just let him sit there.
You let Zaid die?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
So like there's like so many. There's so many options that they give you in the game. It's ridiculous.
It's more options in the second one than the first one.
Right.
Way more options. The other mission is when you do Jack's mission.
Yeah.
Like I remember when you get to the end and you see that guy that's like who also was a survivor of that academy or whatever, and you're given a choice whether to like Jack kill him or let him leave or let him stay or whatever. And then, but either way, she still blows up the academy. But then after you do that mission, she blows up the academy. Then you get that part where you have to choose between her and Miranda.
Right.
And if your Paragon's not high enough, you lose Jack or Miranda.
Yeah.
You lose the loyalty or whatever. But luckily, I concentrated more on my next playthrough on this one. Is my Paragon was high enough to make a decision, so I was able to keep loyalty on everybody. And which is hard because then I hate that even though you do the loyalty mission, something stupid will come up and then you have to make a decision either way. Like the Legion one where you go into that base for the heretics, Geth, and then you had to either upload the virus to make him go back to the Geth or follow the old machines, as he calls the Reapers. And then you have to make the decision, and then Tally's on there and says, "Oh, this, blah blah blah." But then you have to make the decision whether you go, either choose those two sides. But luckily, the Paragon's high enough, and you're able to say both.
Right, but if it's not, you have to pick one, and you lose loyalty to the other one.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's hard. Yeah, it's either be nice or be good. Keep it that way. What else am I thinking? The next one's gonna be shit. The grunt. I don't remember. The Morden one. The Morden loyalty mission had a huge part in it in the third one. Is when you get the guys, you get the choice to either. That mission makes Morden think about.
What's his name?
Oh, the scientist that was making the cure.
Yeah.
I forgot. Did you let Morden kill him or you let him live?
Well, in the Renegade part, I told him to destroy the data and I told him to kill him. But then you don't realize that it has this big effect in Mass Effect 3 because you don't know that yet. So like without the data, the lady can't live. The female Krogan. So it's like in the first one or the second one, I just told him destroy the data and kill the doctor. Kill the scientist. because it was on Renegade. I was like, whatever,
Uh-huh.
you know. But like, and I mean, for the Paragon stuff, I stopped him from killing him, stuff like that, and I told him to save the data, you know, because it might come in handy like later on, because he can change certain things.
And the first one, and because I did, I never played Renegade. I always was straight up from every first game, from the first game, second, third. I was always Paragon. So in that part, in the Paragon part, I tell him, don't kill him, let him live and live his mistakes. But he says, do go open a clinic. Morton says, go open up a clinic in Omega, and that's what he does in the third one. He goes in, he opens a clinic in now. When you get a letter, he opens a clinic up in Omega.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, I thought when I went back to Omega in the third one in the DLC, I would see him, which I was expecting, but nah. But you get that choice, you get the data, and then that data, Morden, after that mission, Morden has a change of heart because he believed it was a mistake of what he did,
Right.
and that's why he's trying to create a cure in the third one for the Krogans of the genophage. If you guys don't know, the genophage was like pretty much cutting the balls off the Krogan and making them infertile, so they can't have children, and it keeps the population down, so the Krogan cannot do another Krogan rebellion uprise of the Citadel Council's alien species or whatever. But what was the thing? I didn't realize at first until I paid attention to it was that the Krogan was a primitive species until they needed help with the Rachni. So the Citadel went to Chunka, and they enhanced the evolution of the Krogan to grow big.
Right.
And that's why they were supposed to be a primitive race, but the Dixon Slayer and smart scientists, they were able to rush the evolution of the Krogan. I didn't know that until I heard about it. I was paying attention with the story. And then the suicide mission. Now, after you get to the Omega 4 relay and you get to the collector base, and luckily you used all the enhancements and no one dies up to that point, this is why I wish the third one did. Is when before you go out into the base, you then have to set up teams, leaders, like missions on what to do. That's what made the whole game worth it.
Right.
Because you spent the whole game looking for all these people, and then now it's time to do the mission, and you're doing all these things. Like when you start off in there, you have to choose a leader for Fire Team 2.
Right.
And I think obviously the best leaders is obviously could be Garrus or Miranda because they're both leaders. Oh, or Jacob. Or Jacob too. And then you do that mission, and then you have to pick a good tech expert to go into the pipes, which what was the point of going to the pipes? Because you had to open the doors and then get to the other door.
Yeah, there was this thing called heat sinks,
and
like you had to get past those, and then the person going through the pipes had to open the door for the other people to come in.
On the other side.
On the other side, right?
Oh, okay.
No, actually, it wasn't the other side. It was your team fighting through, and the person had to go through the pipes to open the door for your team to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that person didn't go through the pipes to get in, your team couldn't come in, and you'd be stuck out there.
Mm-hmm. I usually pick Tally for that one, or Legion, and it's funny too. If you pick Tally for that pipe mission and those pipes, and in the third one, if she survived the mission, in the third one she mentions it, talks about it. You had me in those pipes, blah 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 blah. But okay, you do the pipes, you get to the door. Now, if you pick someone that has a low tech, that person dies.
Right. That was the cool part about the whole suicide mission. Just the fact that if you really didn't know your people and know what they could do,
and they're not loyal,
and they had no loyalty, like you were just, even though, like, let's say you didn't upgrade the ship, you lost people in the beginning of the suicide mission, you would lose more people, like, if you didn't know what they could do, like, and of course I did it just to try it out. Like, I put like I think it let you pick Garrus to go through the pipes, so of course when he gets there and he's trying to open the door so you can come in, he opens it, but then he can't close it.
And a rocket comes right in and hits him in the face?
The bullet comes through the door, and then all you see is the bullet come through the door, they cut the scene, and all of a sudden it goes to you saying something, and then he kind of turns around quick, and depending on if he was like a high tech person, uh, he got shot or he didn't get shot.
Uh-huh.
So since Garrus wasn't tech, he was shot and he died right there.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was cool. You just picked the wrong people
Yeah.
for everything.
Uh-huh.
You know.
And then after you get to that first door, you realize they had those little fly thingies flying, the swarms,
Yeah.
flying everywhere in the area. And then that's when you decided to use a biotic bubble. Now it gives you a choice on which biotic to use, or non-biotic. And I mean, I usually either pick Jack or Samara. I mean,
Yeah.
because I know Miranda was genetically enhanced biotic, but I don't think she's that good of a biotic like
No,
Jack.
you could pick Jacob too.
Yeah, but I think someone will die if Jacob did it because I don't think Jacob's that good
No.
as a biotic. I think I always pick Samara or Jack, and then you have to pick another fire team leader. So I usually always pick either Miranda or thing. Also, if you don't know, on the internet, if you Google something about suicide mission, a guide, someone made a huge guide map on the internet. If you Google it, it shows up and it tells you what happens if you do this, that, enhanced, yes, no, loyalty, and it tells you the perfect guide to get everyone to survive.
Yeah.
In the missions. After you get to the bubble and you save the crew or whatever too, you had to pick someone out of your crew to escort the other crew back to the ship. Now, who do you usually pick?
I always picked. I always picked either Zaid or depending on if I wanted Morden to live or die. Because I don't know what it was about Morden, but he would, regardless of if you had loyalty with him or not, I think he was just such a weak character that you had to
Yeah, because when they held the line, Morden always dies on
right.
them.
You know, it's like even if you had his loyalty or not, he just always died. So and sometimes I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the way I did something in it. But even when I told him to escort the people back to the ship, sometimes he would still die.
Are you serious?
But yeah, and I don't know what I did differently in that run through. But there was one run through I did, and it said, "Oh, everyone made it except for Morden." You know, like when Joker's like contacting you back.
Yeah, but it's like everyone made it, but the guy that was escorting them.
Yeah, you know.
Like okay, because I remember one time it's like everyone made it. Oh, not Morden, and you see Morden's dead body, and I was like, huh? And I was like, but I don't know. That's why one time I picked Morden, but the one time Morden died, I picked Zaid to escort the payroll back, and I was like,
yeah,
okay. But they held the line, and then I brought Miranda because I had a relationship with her, and I brought Grunt with me for the final mission. Now, compared to the first final boss in the first one, where you fight Saren that's possessed by Sovereign, that was pretty crazy because that fucker is jumping everywhere all over the map. Now, the boss of the second one, which is the stupid human hybrid Reaper thing, when you shoot him in the eyes, that was the worst boss fight I've ever goddamn seen. I was like, that's it? That's the end of the first one. I mean, that's the end of the second game. You fight him
pretty much,
and dies. You do know he makes an appearance in the third one.
Yeah, he's not. He's just the shell of himself inside the server's. Inside the server's base.
Yeah,
what I don't understand is, even if you blow up
the collector base,
like the collector base. Well, you don't technically blow it. Well, yeah, you do. You blow it up. But even if you blow it up and take it and tell servers they can screw themselves and
they still get parts of it.
They still get the server, the Reaper.
Yeah, it was a waste of time.
It was a waste.
Yeah, but see, I liked how about if you get Miranda's loyalty and you have I guess it makes more if you have a relationship with her. She tells the Lucifer man to go fuck yourself and consider this my resignation. Bloop, hang up. And then you beat the second one. You get you see if everyone's alive. You see everyone at the end. You tell Lucifer man to go f himself. And then Joker gives you a picture of Harbinger. And then you look up into space. And then the most craziest part of the whole ending is you see all those Reapers coming in.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, and then it ends. And I was like, oh my god, that was an awesome game. And I can't wait for the third one. And then also luckily the third one came out, a year later? Mm-hmm. And then down to the third one. But see,
before we go to the third one, like the part where when they came out with the DLC with the Arrival, when you had to do the Batarian mission. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't Batarian mission. You had to go rescue the scientist.
Yeah, because
and then she took you back to the asteroid. It was a good DLC. I think it would have.
It bridged the gaps.
I think I just wanted them to give it the option whether or not to destroy the mass relay or not. Like, because if you didn't do the DLC, and the third one, when Anderson is talking to you, he changes what he says to you. But if you destroy the Batarian relay, or the Mass Effect relay, and destroy the Batarian system, he says you killed hundreds of thousands of Batarians and da da da, and that's why you were here. Pretty much, you were under arrest and all that.
Gee, that's another thing too. I heard is if you do the Arrival DLC, that's the reason why you're in court in the beginning. You're in trial,
Right.
is because you destroyed a Batarian homeworld.
Right.
Now you could skip the Arrival, and they changed the whole reason why you're in trial.
Right, exactly.
The reason why you're in trial is because you worked with Cerberus.
Exactly.
But now, is it better to get the DLC, or is it better to skip it? I say, no matter what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy every fucking DLC that BioWare comes out for Mass Effect, because Mass Effect is the greatest game ever made.
But they give you an option inside the game or inside the DLC to either do a Paragon or a Renegade where you can warn the Batarians or you can contact Joker.
But see, here's the thing. I chose to contact the Batarian homeworld. While I'm trying to do it, that doctor cuts me off.
Right, but it seemed pointless to have that option because
the doctor's going to cut you off anyway.
Right, but you're still going to have the Batarians destroyed.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to have the option to where you could have just not destroyed the mass relay altogether.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then again, after in part 3, you find out that even if you didn't destroy the mass relay, the Batarians would have been destroyed because all the Reapers would have come through that relay and destroyed everything in that area anyway.
Well, either way, because when the Reapers hit our galaxy, the Batarian homeworld was one of the first planets to get hit anyway because they're in the Outer Rim.
Right.
But see, what bothers me is the core didn't get hit by the Reapers because even though they're in the Outer Rim too, I guess that one side of the Outer Rim was the first place they hit.
Right.
But then you had that one final talk with Harbinger in that DLC. And it tells you prepare the arrival, and he leaves. And then you get on the ship, which is cool, is that Joker uses that mass relay to get the hell out of there right before he gets hit by the asteroid, which is amazing. So now, the third one. Oh, before I get to the third one too, have you seen the Mass Effect movie, The Paragon Lost, that stars Vega?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I have to see it.
It pretty much takes place like around the second game, the end of the first game, beginning of the second game, and because it deals with Vega's encounter with the Collectors.
The Collectors.
Which is cool because if you talk to Vega in Mass Effect 3 during his story, you find out he tells you, I was on a mission where everyone died except 2 people, me and another guy from my unit. And you realize that movie, that's pretty much his story. He's telling you what happened, which is pretty cool. And Liara also makes a cameo in that, in Paragon Lost. Okay, so the third one starts off with now pretty much the invasion of the galaxy. Now the Reapers have finally come, and they're invading Earth. And then the premise of Mass Effect 3 is you have to leave Earth and gather all your allies and fleets to come back. And now that's the huge deal because all the decisions you made in all the other 2 games all now come to this moment here, where you actually have to now. This comes to fruition. Pretty much is end the genophage. Make peace between the Quarians and Geth. What else is there? Save these. It's pretty much Cerberus is on a rampage and shit. And now Cerberus is totally different too now, compared to like when you worked with them. And now Cerberus now is mostly half the people are infected with something with Reaper tech or whatever.
Well, I mean, technically, I see, like when you see it, I understand exactly where the Elusive Man was coming from when he wanted. Like, because when he says I'm still for humanity and stuff like that, I get it because, yeah, he's doing what he's doing, but he's trying to be able, because he's still for humanity, but he wants power. So all he wants to do is control
the Reapers.
What's uncontrollable. He wants to control the Reapers. That's it. So I understand like what he's trying to do, except it's way over his head.
No, well, technically he was right and wrong because remember the Catalyst tells Shepard, he's like this. He's like, oh, so Elusive Man was right. That's what Shepard tells the Catalyst. But the Catalyst goes, no, yes and no, because he could control us, but he could never do it because we already had control of him. The Reapers already had control of him, so either way he was screwed.
Right.
But it gets a whole big old deal, which now also is you now have multiplayer added into Mass Effect 3, which I know you haven't played it, but I did. It's pretty awesome because you're pretty much fighting the war. You're playing other races fighting the war on like a different side of the war other than Shepard collecting all this stuff. Because what pretty much is you get sent into a certain fire bases like areas, and you just have to survive 10 waves. No, 11. You have to survive 11 waves of shit, and you fight either Cerberus, Geth, Reapers, and Collectors. I mean, Geth, I don't know why, because now the Geth are allied with you, so I don't know why you have to fight it. Because you also play Geth, fighting the Geth. I guess you're using that heretic bullshit, or whatever.
Well, not all the Geth were on your side, though.
Yeah, because you still have the heretics.
Right.
But it's also the multiplayer. I mean, you had because also you had to put that point where you have to play multiplayer to gain your assets or whatever in the thing. Not your assets, your damn, I'm trying to remember what's it called. Anyways, it's supposed to also help you with your control, your percentage of the galaxy for the thing. But anyways, in the end, no matter what, it doesn't make a big deal with it all. But okay, but the story mode that like once you leave Earth, Hackett tells you that you need to go get everybody. So go to the council first. So you go to the council. Council goes, hey Shepard, sorry that you warned us about all this shit, but we were right, we were wrong, but we can't help you anyway because we gotta worry about us. I'm like, you wouldn't have to be doing this shit if you were listening to me the first fucking time. What the another big deal of is, I don't know if it was you or somebody else. Somebody told me is that no, the guy, my friend, shout out to Porkweed on Xbox Live. He brought this up when we were playing. He goes, Commander Shepard has done all this shit. He saved the Citadel. He saved all this shit from the collectors, and he's still a Commander Shepard. Should it be like like an admiral by now or something?
I think his rank isn't so much commander. It's more like because he didn't have the whole commander thing when he was, because in the first one he went from commander to Spectre, and he was just a Spectre. That was what he was.
Well, technically he was a Spectre, but he's also still a commander. He's still under the Alliance.
Right. But like I guess it's kind of like when you do those whole, black op missions, like you're not really advancing in rank. You're just doing this thing, and then the second one, he really wasn't Alliance anyway. He worked for Cerberus the whole time, so he was still Commander Shepard, but he wasn't an Alliance officer. He was just worked for Cerberus. What his title was Commander, and then he comes back in the third one, and Anderson reinstates him, but can't do anything else because the last rank he had was Commander. So that's why he's just Commander in all three things,
But man, a guy with that and has done all that stuff for the whole galaxy, he should get more respect. And I also found out too, if you play, another thing about Shepard, when you first start off, you get to choose his background, his life, or a specific event that gives him reputation. Like before, I used to have a guy who was Earthborn, and then he survived the attack by Thresher Malls on that one planet, Chara or whatever, and then he's a hero. But see, I redid it, and I did a colonist whose family was killed when a bunch of pirates came in, and you were saved, and that's why you joined the Alliance. And I survived the Skillian Blitz. Like I led the battle. I went all by myself and did it all, and I changed my guy to a biotic. But see, I heard if you pick another one where you're a spacer, you find out that your mother, like Hackett tells you that your mother's still alive in the third one. Like she's an admiral in the Alliance. Like
really?
If you're like spacer born or whatever, which is pretty cool. Like depending on what the event life changer and your origin has an effect on the game too. And there are specific missions that concentrate on those games, those origins of yours or the event or whatever. Oh, okay. Another big huge thing was in the first one when you played that one DLC, the sky I think it was Sky Bring Down the Sky. The asteroid that was about to hit the planet because the Batarians took over. That's when they first introduced Batarians in Mass Effect 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then did you leave that Batarian live or you let him escape? I mean, did you kill him or you let him escape?
Wait, which one are we talking about?
Ball. The first one, the first Mass Effect, the Skyfall, bring down the sky, because that guy, I mean, those people those colonies thank you in the second one, and that Batarian that I let live, the leader, whatever, becomes the leader. He becomes in charge of the last remaining fleets of the Batarian fleet in Mass Effect 3. You remember doing that mission in Mass Effect
No.
3? Really?
Oh well, Mass Effect 3. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the Batarian from the first Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, I don't remember the first one.
Oh, okay. But like, because he's the last surviving high level officer of the fleet, and he goes, okay, I'll help you get my fleet together, and you get the last Batarian fleet to join the assets.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Now, out of all all the missions, see, which is crazy now, in at all the missions, that's when people start dying.
Mm-hmm.
They killed people off. I mean, I thought one of my favorite moments, one of my craziest moments in the Mass Effect 3 was when Grunt sacrificed himself to stay behind, and he fought the right now. He still lives at the end. Spoiler, he lives. But I thought
it depends. Like him living depends on his loyalty and stuff like that. Like if he survived the suicide mission,
yeah.
but you never got his loyalty in the Mass Effect 2, he doesn't live in Mass Effect 3.
You done that?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
He'll say, "Oh, get back to the ship. It's my turn," and he'll come out and he'll be like, "I'm Krogan," and he'll run at the people, or he'll run at the Rachni, and he'll start fighting them. And then what they'll do is they'll take him. He'll
he
fly
falls
over the
off.
cliff, and then that's it. Like if he never did his loyalty mission, but he survived because it is possible to survive a suicide mission without the loyalty mission.
Yeah.
But you just have to do things right. But if he never got his loyalty, he dies in the third one. He doesn't come back to the ship.
See, because and I heard the same thing for Zaid. Like if Zaid was never loyal, he'll die when you get to that room.
Yeah.
He dies. But actually, I didn't know that because figuring he always comes back alive to me, and I was like, oh thank God, I thought he's gonna die. Yeah. Like Mordin, I heard you could convince Mordin from going up there.
You can.
But I was letting him go because it's
if
someone else would have got it wrong.
Like there's a way. Like if Mordin dies, it's the other guy that takes over, and he's easy to convince. But with Mordin, you have to go through all this stuff because you have to explain to him why it's a bad idea, and he'll say, "Oh, I let something get in the way." Like he let the fact that he thinks he caused the genophage to get in the way, and all that. Mm. So then you can convince him not to do it, but it's just harder. It's a harder process. But if you have his loyalty and he does it, you have to end up shooting him. Like if you don't want him to go. And I thought that was just crazy because it's like there's so many people dying in Mass Effect 3 that you're killing all your friends at the same time.
Because the thing is, you're doing it for Earth, and
right.
And I don't know, either you choose your friends or you choose Earth. Like when when Thane dies, and there's nothing you can do about Thane.
Right.
Thane's gonna die. Yeah, like when he gets stabbed by what's that ninja's name?
Starts with a K, right?
Kai Lang.
Kai Lang, that's it.
Yeah, Kai Lang. When Kai Lang he doesn't die. He dies later on because his blood couldn't because he has that disease.
Yeah. That drill disease.
Yeah, whatever I call it, Crohn syndrome. Fuck. Crohn, whatever. Something. Anyways, he dies by that, and then that's another thing too. His son's in it in the third one. Thane's son, who was part of the loyalty mission in the second one. And he's in the third one. Like he's found more religion and shit now, or whatever. But and that's another thing too is when the Drell are like the special forces unit of the Hanar and shit. And they mention them in the game, but you never see them in the war, fighting the battle. Like when you meet the what are the big elephant guys looking? I forget what they're called. This is unspeakable term.
What are they called? The Elcor.
The
Right?
Elcor. When Elcor goes, we go. It's like sadly admission. They make fun of us because we may be big guys with tanks on our shoulders, walking tanks. You know, like that. Like he mentions them in the and like they'll fight. They're fighting.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, that'd be pretty cool if you saw them fighting. Like in the multiplayer, you get to you get to play the Volus, the midget guys, the Volus. You get to play the Volus in the multiplayer, and you see how they fight. I mean, they pretty much have shields. That's all it is. It's mad shields, and they roll. And dude, when you do a barrel roll, dude, they fucking barrel like that fat kid from like they barrel roll like that fat kid from Hook, man. Like gain weight and shit. You roll it in multiplayer. That's all I do is roll in circles. And then he goes, shields and shit like that, which is funny. But and the third one, that's when you start seeing the Reapers getting more control of the galaxy. Like they start, like the Husk that you fight in the first two games are pretty much indoctrinated humans.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing other races being indoctrinated, like the Marauder, which is indoctrinated Turian, or the worst one is the Asari Turian. I mean, the Asari indoctrinated, which is the Banshee. And then you have they start mixing races like the big ones,
the brutes,
the cannibals.
Oh, the cannibals.
The cannibals is like a Batarian mixed with something else. And then they had the brute, which is like the Shadow Broker race mixed with the Krogan or whatever. Those are the brutes. And then you got the Rachni, which is the Ravager. Which, man, if you play a multiplayer, man, the Ravager takes out your shield like that, and it downs you real fast. Yeah. And then when you shoot its ball sack or whatever, you see all these the swarms or whatever, the little things coming at you. But that's only a multiplayer. But yo, multiplayer, if you haven't checked it, you need to check out multiplayer. It's pretty awesome. Back to the game. This game is you do the missions. And then what I like it, but it gives you a chance to, like, if you had a relationship with Ashley, it gives you a chance to reconnect, or Caden or whatever. Now, which I didn't know is if you're a male shepherd, you can have a gay relationship with Caden.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
Something.
Yeah. That and Cortez too. Which obviously, I remember when I first talked to Cortez and he first mentioned his husband, I was like, huh? Did you say what? You said oh man, I forgot. I was like, man, I like how they had the lesbian thing up with the Sari and the human female shepherd in the first game. Man, they're having everything. I think Mass Effect was trying to go to a whole new effort by going gay.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to be fair because in all the games you pretty much could have female and female relationships in all of them, but you couldn't have male and male relationships, you know. You know, so I think they were just trying to be politically correct in a sense.
Cool. All right, so I guess the main thing we should talk about now is the final mission. Right before you get to the final mission, the biggest part it tells you is you have to go for the Cerberus base and confront the Elusive Man. But remember, it tells you, because right after that, that's like the point of no return, pretty much, because once you go there, the Citadel gets captured by the Reapers, and there's no point of ever going to other missions now, because now that's the main one after that. So you do that mission, you go on the side to collect the base, which is cool because then what's her name volunteers to go with you automatically, so you can't even take her out of your squad, Edie. Mm-hmm. And that's when you also find out that Edie's also was the rogue AI that was in the lunar base and during the Black Ops missions from the Mass Effect 1.
Yep.
Okay, and after you do all that, you...
I'm in for a roll-up.
Okay, and then... And then after all that, you go do the thing, and then you fight Kai Lang, and they already took the Citadel to Earth already. And then from there, you gotta fight... Damn, what the hell you do next? You do... after that, you go to Earth. And then... But make sure it didn't ask you, do you want to go to Earth? Because once you go to Earth, that's it. There's no... The thing is, once you go to Earth, you can't even save anymore. There's no saving points at any point. You can't save. It's all straight gameplay for like what? An hour?
Almost like 2 hours.
Almost like 2 hours? Really? Was it 2 hours? And then you get all that done, and then you
Well, I mean, if you don't fast forward, like if you don't like
skip the cutscenes and
skip the cutscenes,
and then don't talk and don't say your final goodbyes to everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially
Dude,
you
so
literally
long.
say goodbye to fucking everybody like that. And the thing that blows my mind is you're on Earth, right? It's under like in Reaper control, and the fucker goes, who do you need to talk to next? I need to talk to this person. And I guess that person like it's nothing, like it's communicating that guy right away, and like.
It's like, yeah, it's like they're not fighting. They're just waiting for you to contact them first. And
Yeah, they're like, contact Desire. Shepard, where you been? And I was like, wow, okay, that was quick. This totally beats T-Mobile service and shit. But and then you do that. Okay, but see, there was no big boss fight in Mass Effect 3. It was pretty much you just fight a shitload of Reapers at the end.
Yeah,
Banshees and then protecting the missile silo. But see, now before the director's cut, it's pretty much you get the missile launcher going. You kill the Reaper dreadnought that was protecting the transport that goes into the Citadel.
Yeah.
And then you get there, and then when the Mako gets hit, you guys get out and you guys are hauling ass to the transport, and that's it. And you get effed up and you go into the teleport. And that's it. But then the big line that hits me is, what the fuck happened to your crew? At that point, and you don't know what happened, and how in the end how they end up back on the Normandy right away to escape.
See, that's what I don't understand. Like the part where you're fighting, and you get to like, you make this decision and whatever decision you make, and then it shows the end cutscene where the Normandy is trying to outrun this little shockwave, and then all of a sudden it gets hit, and then everything goes black, and the next thing you see is the Normandy is on a planet. And people that were in your squad fighting with you are walking out of the Normandy. And you're like, how do you get to the Normandy? Yeah, how'd you get picked up and on this planet when you were fighting with me?
Yeah.
You know?
And then it pretty much has Joker looking up into the sunset, depending on what choice you make, and Edie's with him. And the credits start rolling.
Right.
And I'm like, with my controller in my hand, like, that's it?
I was just shocked. I was like, I can't believe this is how it's gonna finish.
But see, the other thing that bothers me about the whole thing is that the whole 3 games, all your decisions came through at one point. But in the end, no matter what happens, no matter what decisions you've done in all 3 games, you're given these 3 choices.
Right.
Synthesis, destroy, or control. That's it. It doesn't matter what you did on all 3 games. That's the fucking ending. This is what you get. And I was like, okay. And now, everyone bitched about it on the forums, told BioWare. BioWare said, and you know what? BioWare did something that no one would usually ever does, is they fixed the ending. They released the extended cut DLC, which is pretty much a whole extended version of the ending. Yeah. Up to that point, when you're running down towards that transporter, it actually shows what happened to the crew.
Right.
And it actually and then if you have a love interest with that one person that gets hurt, they gave a little more personal touch to it by, you say that final goodbye to that person. They get on the Normandy ship and it takes off. But now, you mentioned before, it's funny that Harbinger's taking out all these fighters and Makos and shit, and the Normandy's right there and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, not like the SR-1, like the SR-2. This big ass ship is sitting there, and it's like, and you start thinking, wow, the stealth drives must be incredibly powerful.
It's like, it doesn't see shit.
Like, the Harbinger is like not even looking at that. You're like, talking, especially with love interest, like you were saying. Like, you're sitting there talking to the person. There's explosions happening all around you and shit. And the Normandy is sitting there just waiting for you to finish talking so it can take off.
I know. It's just like, no matter what happens, I love you. And then nobody's like, and the Harbinger's nobody's just chilling there, and it just takes off. Then I was like, and it literally takes off, gets in the atmosphere, jumps into it just flies around space for a while until it's ordered by Hackett to leave. Because that's another thing he added too. Hackett orders all the fleets to leave.
Yeah.
The ship. And shit, which is freaking cool. And also, it also shows the Mass Effects don't exactly blow up like they did in the original cut.
Right.
They don't actually get destroyed. Anyways, and then it gives you more, because before in the original cut, when the Callus, the kid, shows up, he doesn't give you any time to explain. He doesn't he doesn't explain anything to you. Why this? Why that? But in the extended cut, it gives you more options, and he does explain certain things. Right. Especially when you get the the
Leviathan,
Leviathan DLC, which is the origin of the Reapers, pretty much tells you and it just explains to you flat out, boom, the the Leviathans created us, but created the Reapers, and that's what happened. And it gives more explanation to it too.
Now,
Plus,
I know that it will be a lot harder to incorporate this into the main game besides just making it a DLC. But I wanted, like, when you got the DLC of the Leviathans, and they were saying, we're gonna fight, but we're not gonna fight for you. We're gonna fight,
for us,
we're gonna fight for us. I was wanting to see something like, they would do something at the end to control a Reaper and make it like do something so to get out of the way or something, something to benefit you. But it just pretty much ended the way it was supposed to end, and that DLC was just what it was.
yeah, and back to the extended cut edition where it gave more explanation and get more further ending of the ending
Right.
instead of this Joker looks out the sunset, credits roll. Nah, F that. Now it's pretty much the Krogans come back to Tuchanka, the grow to Tuchanka, like the build it where it used to be. The Quarian, and depending if you save the Gath and the Quarians, they all live in Rannoch in peace. You have everyone moving on with their lives, like trying to grow, rebuilding everything. And like if you control the Reapers are there helping you build. So is Synthesis. The Reapers are helping build all the planets again, and then it gives you the final thing, which is pretty cool. In the third one is they had the memorial set. Plus, if you did the Normandy DLC in the second one, where you go back to the old Normandy and pick up the dog tags,
Yeah.
all those people you picked up, their names appear on the
Right.
memorial wall. So even in the memorial, and then it's pretty much ends with them either putting your name on there, or if you did destroy, she don't believe you're dead, so she doesn't put your name on it, or the love interest doesn't put your name on the shepherd's name on the memorial wall. It smiles. And
I thought that was cool, like the memorial wall, because it actually made it real, because it was like, yeah, all these people died in the game, but when you actually see the memorial wall, and depending on if you let everyone die, like you see like a whole list of people, and it's like, damn, it's like you realize you killed so many people in the game.
You didn't kill.
Well,
you were
didn't kill.
responsible
Yeah, you were
for them
responsible.
dying. In
But
a
it was
sense,
just like, damn. It's like you're looking at all these names just on this wall. It's like, wow.
it takes a personal.
Yeah.
Like another crazy thought before back to the end mission or whatever. It's the Talia mission where Legion says he could control the Geth. Like he could put his mind in to give them independence or whatever. But then the dumbass general is like attacking the Korean general. The admiral's attacking
Admiral Kiro,
the Geth.
right?
Yeah. And then if it's just in a certain way that if you give them full liberty, whatever, the Geth, they will destroy the Korean people.
Right.
And if the Korean people dies, Tali gets so depressed, she takes off her mask and jumps off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kills herself, and I was like, oh shit. But then, if you don't do that, everyone's happy, joining in, the Korean people and the Geth live together around in the end. But which is also cool is that but the thing is though, the whole thing with that, Legion dies. Legion has to die. Which was
like
crazy.
They had a bunch of, like, not a bunch, but the double death scenes I thought were cool. Like, if you did the thing and you let Legion, like if you didn't have the Paragon up or the Renegade up and you had to pick one or the other, and you picked the Geth instead of the Quarians, Tali was suicidal because you were destroying her people.
Yeah.
So she jumps off the cliff, and then her mom comes over and shoots herself.
Oh, see, I don't know about that part.
Yeah, like her mom shoots herself because she's like,
ain't that her aunt or something?
I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was her mom. I don't know. But she comes over and she shoots herself, and then the other double death thing I liked was and you had to choose this. Like if you were at Falaire and the monastery,
mm-hmm.
and the mom was a Justicar, Samara.
Yeah.
So
it's her code.
Right, it's her code to kill all of the.
And she refused to kill her. Yeah.
So she refused to kill her, and the only way to refuse is to kill herself.
Yeah.
So if you let her kill herself, and that would be the renegade thing to do.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to keep the renegade thing up, you kill Falaire also. So it's like the mom killed herself, so she can't kill Falair.
But you kill Falair.
But then you kill Falair because you can't let her live anyway. So it's like it was just crazy.
But okay, another the latest DLC that came out was the Omega DLC. Have you played it?
Yes.
What do you think of that one?
That one, I thought it was a really good DLC, but because it kind of took away from, it had really nothing to do with Mass Effect 3. You know, like it was just
a side story.
It was really just a side story because every DLC that they came out with has something to do with Mass Effect, like the third version of it.
Well, before Mass Effect 3 came out, BioWare came out with a comic book series called Mass Effect Invasion, which chronicled the story of how Omega was taken from Aria. And it shows you how Aria lost Omega, which is pretty cool because then the Omega DLC came out, and then it tells you, it tells you you're helping her because she mentions it that she lost it, and if you read the comics, you understand why. But then the DLC comes out, and you actually going to help her take it back, which is pretty cool.
It was a very good DLC. The only downside to it was you couldn't go back to Omega after the DLC. Like there was no Omega in the thing.
And you think it would be better if you had your own crew, if you brought your crew with you, because it was just you and her. And
I understand why you couldn't bring your own crew. Because it was supposed to be like, not a stealth mission, but like, she didn't really trust anyone else but you.
Not really. She just wanted you because she knows you're the best one to have the job.
So she didn't want other people trying to take over. So she just wanted you, and that was it. But I think since who was her name, Nairi, was introduced.
Yeah, the female Turian. Yeah.
I think you should have been able to bring her out of the Omega DLC and actually use her in the game. I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah, but it sucks that they killed her off. Like she dies in the thing. Spoiler. But like she gets killed at the end, and then that's pretty much it. But like I heard also too, if you stop her from killing the guy, the guy from Cerberus, he becomes a war asset because he gives you all this information about Cerberus.
Yeah.
And shit like that. But I mean, a good DLC because what I liked about it was her biotic thing that caused a big explosion. The flare, dude. That was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I want that. And as soon as I could have that power, dude, I took that power for myself, and I was flaring everybody, dude. All right, so right after that, a couple months later, the BioWare came out with a new DLC called The Citadel, which is the final DLC of the Mass Effect, their whole trilogy, period, to finish it off. BioWare calls it their love letter to their fans. I haven't only played it once. I haven't gone through the whole thing. But you said you played it multiple times from all different angles?
Yeah, I've played it a lot just to see like the different character interactions and to see what happens when you put certain people in certain situations. How do we know it's the last one? Like the last.
Oh, they announced it's
the last one.
Oh yeah, it's the final one.
Okay, but as far as like playing the game itself, like when you go through and you have like different playthroughs and how you react to people, it changes the dialogue completely. Like I mean, more dramatically than any other DLC or the game itself, really, because there's so much humor and so much stuff happening in the game or in the DLC that it's crazy how they brought it all together. It's like to make it seem like it was like a family type thing.
Yeah, like they literally brought everyone back for this. Pretty much, they brought back Rex. Like you said when you were telling me before when I was playing the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like if you played Rex more in the first one, and if you didn't kill him in the first one or after the genophage, he'll show up and save you.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. Like, I thought it was just part of the story.
But if you killed off Rex, it's the next person you play with more. Like the person I played with more was James. So he's the one that comes in. Like your love interest comes in. Like and my love interest was for this one was Liara. So she comes in and helps you out, and then James comes in and does his thing. And then the next playthrough I did, my love interest was Ashley, so she came and helped me. And Rex was alive, so he came.
Did you like the whole storyline with it that someone was trying to take a life, but then it turns out to be a clone of you?
Yeah, I did.
You liked
Honestly, that was badass because I was I didn't want to seem skeptical about things, but it didn't make any sense that in Mass Effect 2, when you came back, you know, that Cerberus wouldn't have
A clone.
A clone. That didn't like because like the elusive man was all about
Making you the real you.
Yeah, making you the real you. But he was all about you working for him. So what would stop him to have a contingency plan to have a backup you if you didn't work out?
But
you
see,
know?
the clone was like, oh, he had no use for him after you betrayed him. Remember they had that conversation?
Right.
And I was like, well,
I understand that too because the elusive man probably felt that he couldn't control this shepherd, so he can't control the next one, so he just left him on ice.
Was he technically on ice?
Well, he was in a coma.
He was in a coma
until Brooks came and revived him.
Yeah, see, and Brooks, and see, I like how they fit Brooks into it. Is that she's the one that did the whole. She's the one that brought you the dossiers.
Right. Now that's another thing. If you played with someone from Mass Effect 2 in the DLC, Brooks starts talking to that person. Like when you come to like the vault area, where all three of you are sitting in the little force shield, and your clone comes out, and Brooks comes out with the clone, and says, "Oh, I don't work for the Alliance" and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, she comes up and she's like, or your character Shepard says, "Why don't you come to me? I could have helped you." And she says, "Well, we did work together. I was the one that set up the dossiers for the suicide mission." And as she's going through, if you brought someone from the suicide mission on that mission with you, I brought Tali with me. So she was like, so she goes, "Nice to meet you," and then Tali was like, "Charmed," because like she set up the profile.
Yeah, because she did the same thing when I brought Garrus.
Right.
She goes,
I rarely get picked.
Yeah.
Are usually people that I never pick.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was like something that correlated with the game. Like it actually looked at who you picked most.
That's what I thought, man.
Like, cause I never picked. Where they are locked in the vault, and like Tali was my character, and she's like, "Are you seriously not concerned that we're running out of air? I'm not worried about this."
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like Garrus is like,
yeah,
you're not worried about. And oh, that's right, Glyph.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about it is when you're fighting over to the archives, and you see the history.
Right.
Like when the first contact with the Citadel, and the Asari and the Ascension makes it over.
Yeah.
And they go there and they see the Keepers. And then you go to the other one where it's like the first contact war is when they had a human strapped into the chair.
Yeah.
And then like you see the Turians like looking, they're interrogating him. But then it was cool is every time you tell Glyph, yeah, yes, Commander. Hey, find Commander Shepard. He's like find the other me. I have. No, the other me. Oh, and he goes away, and then he comes back, and he goes, hey, he's on the thing, but no. Why'd you leave him? Oh, he told me to leave him alone. He's like, oh! That's why there was like a lot of humor, and it was like, oh. Yeah. But see, I like how they added everyone in there. Like, while you're fighting with your two, you had Team Mako and Team Hammerhead, which is the names of the shuttles and the Mako and stuff. And I like how he's like, Rex is like taking all the credit for killing everyone. It's like, oh, the Krogan's killing everyone, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, it's funny.
It is. But the whole thing. There's so much in it, and I think it was cool. Like there's just different aspects. Like there's two things that I thought were probably the funniest. Was well, out of the actual the fighting and stuff when they're planning, was when actually the whole scene where he has to do the whole black tie. If you're a male or female shepherd, when you have to do the black tie and you pick different people to come with you, the interaction you have from walking from the car to the building is hilarious. Like they'll say certain things. Like if you have a love interest, like Ashley was my love interest when I did this one. She says stuff like, "Oh, you're hot," and then you start talking about, "Oh, we can do stuff later," and it's like she starts like doing her little like flirty thing. It was just crazy, you know. But the two things I thought were funny was when Shepard says, "All right, all hands on deck for this mission," and then James says, "Oh hell yeah," and like he says, "So who's gonna take point with you?" And then everyone's going, like that. And then like there's a pizza guy behind them, like that was funny. Like, and then he looks like, "What's up with the bowl?"
Then he goes up and goes, "What's up with the bowls?"
Yeah,
Oh, I was hungry. And then remember while you're going over there, you're fighting, and he goes, there's a Bolson line asking about the bill. They're like, pay it later. Yeah. The pizza was later. It was cold. They had no anchovies. Because when everyone was at the place, at the house, they were like, well, see, the other thing that got me back to when you're in the casino and you had to do the security thing to avoid the cameras, it felt like more like Metal Gear Solid type stuff, because when you see the camera view,
I was expecting something to go like you're being watched.
Or just like suspicious, like act casual. Yeah. And I was walking up to everyone. Oh, which reminds me, you run into that chick. I always wondered what happened to her. The Asari.
Shira.
Yeah, Shira. You see her, and I was like, holy shit, Shira's here, and I was like, bitch, where the fuck you been? And I was like, I thought you just disappeared. And it goes, so you have any advice for me? Don't get killed, or something like that. It was like something weak, and she ignored me after that. And I was like
in mine, she said win. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, win. Okay.
Like win what?
I was like, last I talked to you, you gave me a bracelet.
Yeah,
or a pendant, and then told me some kind words, and that's it.
But also the other part I was gonna say was the part where they're saying I think it was Team Mako that was under the firefight, and you had to go help him out. And then when they went to the cutscene, he sees a sniper come up on the little on the walkway, and he pulls out his gun and he starts shooting. And then he goes down there and he's like clearing, like he's making clearing
everyone go up the ladder.
And everyone go up the ladder. And then as they're going up the ladder, they're shooting. And then Tali said it for me, but my other one, Liara, said it. But they both say the same thing, where they're like, "Hey, it's cheating if you're shooting at someone on a ladder because they can't shoot back." So they get up the ladder, and then he's like, "Hey, we need help." And before he could finish saying it, I like how everyone came out with their weapons and they start shooting everyone. I thought that was a trip.
I was like, the whole family get together.
Yeah,
which is funny because when I got to that point where they needed help, as soon as I got there, Liara gets killed. I see her body fall, and I was like. But then it cut to the scene, and I was like, she's back up again. And I was like, oh. But
I didn't actually look to see what would happen if you took your time getting there. When I played it, they were seeking out help, but I went straight to them. So I wanted to play with it, see if it was all right, if they would all fall, come, because I mean they were getting shot at from everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was like, would they all just die? They were all in the middle.
Yeah.
So I was like, would they all just die? Would you watch them fall or something like that?
Before that, though, when the Special Forces unit was coming up.
Yeah.
And then while you're fighting them, and the glyph is telling them, "Oh, these guys are better than you." It's like, he's like, I advised recommendation to retreat or surrender because you're gonna die if you fight these guys. And, but beyond that, the clone thing, I like how it made sense that when you're both hanging on the edge of the door, you're about to fall.
I like how they tie that in.
And he goes, "What makes you different than me?" And
he was like, "Why you, not me?"
No, you, not me. And what happens was Ashley and James, who I picked to go with me to Normandy, come and help me out. They pick me up. Because that's what the difference is.
Right.
I have friends.
Right.
Because you looked at Brooks, and Brooks like, fuck that.
Yeah, she fucking took off.
And the thing is, I like how they fit in the toothbrush for Trainer's toothbrush.
Yes, that was funny. That was hilarious.
Like, you just fired me. And it's like, we need a small Mass Effect field to open the vent. She has a toothbrush, and they're like, remind me to pay her back for that, which is cool because I like how you're under the ground, you're under the tunnel.
Yeah, I thought that was cool how you got into the ship.
And you're like, okay, shh, sorry. It's like shit bacon. It's like, sorry. And you go out there. I mean,
just the little things that they put in the game I thought were funny. Like if I had a relationship, like in one of the playthroughs I did, I had a relationship with Trainer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she comes out and her whole dialogue is different because she has a relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of coming out and saying, you know, because I think if you don't have a relationship with her, she says conduct unbecoming and da 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 da. Well, if you have a relationship with her, she says fraternization.
Oh.
Because you're together. And she's like, after all we've been through and da 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 da. And if you have the option to do a Paragon move, and if you do it, you grab her, you shut her up, and you start kissing her. You know?
Oh.
And pretty much you just say, oh, that was an evil clone, and I'll explain more later. And then you start going about the thing. But, like, there was another part. If you didn't have a relationship with her and you brought, like, James, I thought James was, like, the funniest because he had, like, all these little one-liners. Like, where he would start talking, and Trainer would come out, say something, and he'd be like, well, you know, Shepard got an evil clone. That's all I got.
Like, what's the joke? Like, Shepard evil clone. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I had nothing.
So it was like he had all these little one-liners in the DLC.
No, I like the pizza one. Like, oh yeah, that's fine. But in the end, like, you get everyone after it's all over. You get the quiet time, downtime. Now you get to hang out with everyone, and like for example, like Zaid getting the puppet thing for the girl, the Asari chick, or I like how they did like she's playing like that battleship style shit Trainer.
Yeah.
On the thing, and when the girl loses,
dude, that was hilarious. Like she spazzes out on the floor. I was like, oh my god.
Like kick. It's like Trainer. Yes, sir. Kick her ass. Like, it was like ah. Did you play all the arcade games down there in the arcade area?
No.
There's a Rock'em Sock'em Robots mechs. You play that with Jacob later on.
Really?
Like, yeah, you play Rock'em Sock'em. There's also But I like how you have one-on-one with each character.
Right. I thought that was cool.
Let's take a one-on-one time. Because this is the final goodbye. I mean, I think for Shepard's story arc, it's done. Yeah. So the Mass Effect 4 is going to be dealing with someone new. Hopefully, I mean, you can still go see the other characters if it's a sequel. Because there's rumors that it's going to be a prequel.
Well, I don't necessarily... I think it should be kind of like... it should play alongside. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing something. It's kind of like I was telling you, like, a while ago about, I think it was, like, Star Wars, something of the Republic, or something like that, where you got to play the Commandos, and then, like, you got to see, like, you know, all the Jedi do their thing, but you were playing as the clones.
Oh, the Delta Force of...
Right.
The Delta Squad.
So, like, I think that would be cool if you could play alongside as, like, one of the soldiers or something like that.
And they did.
Yeah,
pretty much.
You know?
Which is cool. And if you watch Star Wars Clone Wars, the Republic, those commandos you talking about, make an appearance twice in the whole series.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
But okay, out of all the characters, one-on-one side stories, which one was your favorite so far?
The one-on-ones, I have to say, I don't know, like, because Joker's character is funny. Like, his stuff.
When you use me as bait?
Yeah. Because I thought that was hilarious. He was like, when this is over, we're going to talk about you using me as bait.
Yeah, that's what you're going to use me as bait.
But he had humor.
Did you hear were you there for the bar story one? When he's trying to get his free drinks because he's the pilot of the Normandy?
Yeah.
The Star Wars doesn't listen. And then it shows, like, his story. Like, he got on a mech and started wrecking people.
That was hilarious. That's
like, that's why I'm the captain of Normandy. Oh, I'm the pilot of Normandy. The Garrus one, is when if you're the guy, you play wingman
Yeah.
for the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man, type shit. But then when that happened, I was like, yeah, but he makes out with Tally at the end.
Yeah.
We're trying to hook him up with another.
But you know, like,
Curian.
no matter what dialogue you do, as long as you do the Paragon move where he grabs a beer and gives it to Garrett,
Yeah.
like, it all ends the same.
Yeah.
So you can tell him whatever you want, but just as long as you do that thing, he still ends up with the girl.
Got it. The Liara one is when she's playing the piano. If you're not with her, you just ask her to teach you how to play the piano. I was like, okay, that's weak. The Tally one is if you're not in a relationship with her, she sings the line of the movie. She sings the song if you're with her. But if you're not with her, she just goes, "Oh, good movie," and it ends. And I was like, okay.
I think Javix was as far as like meeting the people.
Oh, the Blastoise movie setting commercial or whatever. Oh my god,
that was funny.
He's like, I am the real Shepherd. I'm the real Spectre. Oh, Blastoise, this one, Kinla, is the one to save the... I was like, oh, God. So this is Black. Because remember, if you go down the Citadel and you see, like, advertisements for Blastoise, and I was like, Blastoise clears a Genophage right when you're walking out, and I was like, we already did that. But, that one was good. The Cortez one, where he just rides in the sky car.
I mean, that was cool because that pertained to him. That's what he liked to do.
Yeah.
You know?
The other one, okay, this is what I did it yesterday, is when you talk to Vega and he shows you the tattoo, the N7, he walks out.
Yeah.
Hey, did you do the pull-ups?
No, I didn't do the Renegade because you had to do Renegade for that.
No, you don't have to.
No?
It switches off, Paragon and Renegade, left, right, because you're doing you're doing pull-ups.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I thought it was just because I didn't do it, and then I just dropped down.
Oh, no, do it.
Really?
And you actually do pull-ups every time. It switches off. Paragon, Renegade, Paragon, Renegade.
So then you can, like, beat his record?
I did.
And what's he saying?
You beat it!
That's
it! But the thing that got me, I was like, you actually do 186 pull-ups to beat him. And you're like, how do you feel? And it gives you, oh, that's going to hurt in the morning. Or... man, I could do another 186. And I go, let me be badass. I could do another 186. And it goes, uh-huh. And it goes back to punching the punching bag. And that's it. And I was like, I thought I was going to get an achievement for that. And I was like, oh, man.
That's crazy.
I actually spent like 20 minutes doing pull-ups. I'm like, left, right, left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger.
God.
While the whole time I'm doing that, I'm like on my phone texting and using my right hand to switch like my two top fingers on the top, like the tip, hitting the fingers while I'm texting. Because, dude, that's all it is. And he give you motivation. And he goes, all right. And then when you reach 100 or 100 pull-ups, he goes, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And you're like, funny. And you're still doing pull-ups. Which is, I mean, that one was cool. The Jack one. Have you seen the Jack one?
No.
Well,
I mean, she came to the house, but she didn't. I didn't see like any.
Oh, the Jack one, like she tells you to meet her at the simulator, and you do the simulator, and you fight mechs or whatever.
Okay.
And then just give you a scene where, like, if you're with her, you go up to her and you kiss her while the mech explodes in the background, which is pretty epic if you see it. And then at the end, you go back to your room, and she goes, "Oh, take off your clothes. I got a gift for you." So, all right. She's giving you. She does it. She puts a tattoo on your back. And then, but that's when she starts tearing up and breaking up. She's like, "Oh, because," I was like, "Oh,
that's cool."
And then, no matter what though, the ending when you're all about to get out on the Normandy ship, the end is the same shit like anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like for everyone, it's the same line. It was a damn good ride. Everyone says that same line at the end, and you go, the best. And then, but see, also, what's cool is if you gotta play the simulation a lot, the simulator, and you gotta read the emos you get, because it's like like an actual sport now. So like people like send you fan mail or they ask you requests to do certain things. Like, oh, can you bring the Prothean and fight the Reapers to bring up morale? We'll pay you. So you do it, and then there's another one where you go. I get a one about Help the Dream Foundation. It's like Commander Shepard is fighting this fight for like Help the Dream Foundation, and I was like, wow. Or like there's like if you look at the scoreboard, you see everyone's top score.
Right.
Like I beat it already. I'm like 999. You also get an achievement for it, and you get armor. You get Cerberus armor. You get to choose between 3 of the Phantom armors.
Really?
Yeah. And then if you look at the score, you see Barlow Vaughn, the Volus is number 1. And you hear people in the background asking about it. They're like, how did a Volus get number 1 in the high score? That's impossible. And then the second one's Aria, and the other one's like Vega. It's pretty cool shit. The other, back to the one-on-one thing, is Miranda's one. You and her go out in the town, you go to the casino, like, that's my girl. You gamble.
Yeah, that's if you have a relationship with her, right?
Yeah. That's if you have a relationship with her. Oh, but if you don't have a relationship with her, you guys just talk about, the clone. And you talk about Brooks.
Right.
But she said she never knew about it because she was more concentrated on bringing you back.
Right.
But she also and then you're like good friends. But the thing is, though, I had a relationship with her in the second one. We were talking, but we were friends. Because I rekindled my relationship with Ashley.
Right.
Which is another one. That's one of the worst ones out of the one-on-ones was Ashley's. Ashley sucked. It's where you're at the bar, just having drinks.
Yeah, I know.
And all of a sudden you just get in a fight and it's over. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm banging this girl. It should be like something more epic than that.
That sucked. Like, take a rain check? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then, like,
yeah, and she punched the guy. And it's like that. And I was like, on the house. But I was like, that's it? I mean, no, like, epic, ooh.
Yeah, but I think their dialogue through the whole thing, because if you take her on your missions and stuff like that, they have a completely different dialogue.
Everyone has a different dialogue. No matter.
But, like, if you have a relationship with Ashley and you're going into the black tie event, she says things. If, like, when they're at the party, and you talk to her a lot, like, the last thing she says to you if you have a relationship with her is, when you kick everyone out, come find me, minus the shirt and the pants.
But see, the same thing happened with me, with Ashley, but Miranda was saying the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're both next to each other. And I'm like, this is awkward. But it's funny that when I crank up the music and everyone starts dancing at the party, and Jack's on the table and everyone's dancing, I get in the middle, and, Shepard's the worst fucking dancer in the world. During night, and they're like, well, all right, Shepard getting loose. And like, that sucks. Because, Jack knows you suck at dancing. Because remember when you were dancing at the club, you were doing the same move? Well, but see, and I like about it too is they also added Anderson's biography.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
You hear all the stories he talks about, and then you have the memorial service for Thane.
Yeah. And
he gives you the videos. It's also different if you had a relationship with him if you're the female.
Yeah, if you're the female.
But the one thing, and then you get Morden. You get his memoirs. Morden's memoirs next to the bed when you wake up the next morning.
Oh, really?
You didn't hear it?
No.
He sings a whole new verse of the song that he sings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sings a whole new verse, and then you get and that's pretty much it. But the last thing that bothered me was there was nothing about Legion. You don't hear nothing about Legion at all.
You see, I thought that the only reason I didn't expect anything from Legion is because he sacrificed himself. It's like you couldn't bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like there was nothing you can do. Like, even if you didn't do the cure the genophage on T'Changa, if you didn't do that, you still had Rex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before you killed him, like before you went back to the Citadel and you killed Rex, you still had him come to the housewarming party and all that shit because he was still there.
Yeah.
But I think Legion's character was just never there.
Yeah.
Because either he sacrificed himself or he was stuck with the Reapers anyway.
Yeah. I like how also when Grunt was being the bouncer at the door because everyone heard about the party.
Yeah, that was
trying
funny.
No. And then you go there, you see the vulture dancing in the back. No, not here. No one's here. Human party. But the coolest part when everybody was dancing, Javik, Rex, and Zaid were like,
yeah, they're firing their weapons.
They're undercover behind the couches. I was like, wow.
But I thought it was funny how like they broke it down to where, they gave Grunt all these funny parts. They were like, have you ever seen Krogan gets so drunk that he throws up all over the floor, and he was like, "Well, I guarantee you'll see that tonight." And then like when you come back and find him later after you like done the whole talk to Glyph and crank up the music, if you find him again, he's in the shower, like
Rex?
sitting. Yeah, no, Grunt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's sitting in the shower, like completely passed out. Like, and water is hitting him, and like if you hit the button to talk to him, he's sitting there going, he's mumbling shit. He's just like talking shit, and then you talk to like kind of like when Ashley was on the ground,
Yeah.
like and she was drunk.
Oh,
it was like that.
Callie too.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like that, but he's just like talking shit. He's like just making jokes. And like, but he's like knocked out, like all hunched over in the bathroom and shit.
I like how also when you're going back in the painting, you see Zaid and Samara, and Zaid's hitting on Samara.
Oh, that was a trip.
Yeah.
That was funny.
And I was like, we're like pretty much the badasses here. Me, you, yeah. I was like,
I thought that was a trip. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like in the whole DLC, I think they put so much humor into it that it kind of was like, you honestly felt like kind of like a Battlestar Galactica ending.
Yeah.
Like how everyone was just like coming at peace and like they were went off their own way and shit like that. It was kind of like that. It was like it's an ending, but it's a good bye.
It's a good bye, but not really the ending.
Right.
But like the one thing is when they're planning the to go who's gonna go in the vent at the casino, and everyone looks at Tally because I always throw Tally in the vent, and Tally's like, oh no. No, and then because of my instruments or my suit, well, like,
yeah.
So now everyone looks at Brooks. I like how they're trying to fit Brooks into it, but then it was, and then when she came up to be the bad guy at the end, I was like, oh, that was so predictable.
Honestly, at first, like when they first brought her out, and she was like this clumsy, nerdy type assistant or whatever she was. Yeah, I couldn't tell. I thought she was honestly like just someone that got just caught in the way. But I think the further it went, it was because just stuff was happening. Like for instance, when she pushed you out of the way and got shot, I was like, oh, okay, cool. She's helping you. But when the character had her, and then like had her at gunpoint and said everyone drop your weapons and then pushed her down, and then came out and it was your clone. I was like, she's got to be working with him because so far she's gotten caught like all the time. It's like I understand you're not a field agent, but you're getting caught way too much. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like you suck.
But
then the one thing to top it all off right at the end is when you end the party with the picture.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was like literally the best thing of like the whole. I was getting teary eyed. I was like, oh man, because I had everyone alive other than the ones who died, obviously.
Right.
And because I'm in a relationship with Ashley, me and Ashley look at each other, and the picture is like that, like you're in the middle. It's like you're the father, and this is all your fucking children.
Well, yeah, man. Like I think it was cool. I think it was like a really good DLC. And it just brought everything to a close, and it was like, wow, that's awesome. Because like all the other DLCs are all about action and stuff like that, and this had action in it, but it was about like fun at the same time. Like I mean, just starting from like when he goes to meet Joker for dinner, and then Brooks comes over and starts talking to you, and then like. It's like the humor just started rolling from there.
Yeah.
Like when he uses Joker as bait, and then Joker turns around and is like, "Did you use me as bait?"
Yeah, see, that's what starts getting like humor. You're like, "Oh boy."
But
see, out of all the DLCs that's come out from all three games, name your top three.
Wait, out of this game or just
out of all three?
Out of all three.
Name me your top five. Give me your top five favorite of all three. Mine is number 1, Citadel.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Omega. Number 3, I don't know why will be. I think number 3 will be Ketsumi, the thief one.
Right.
Number 3, and I think that's it for my top 3. Is those 3 is the Omega, the Citadel, Omega, and the Katsumi one. The very first DLC that came out was Bring Down the Sky when you had to stop the asshole. You didn't do that one, right?
Yeah.
You did that one?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like that one? See, I like how they connect the Bring Down the Sky DLC with the other 2.
Right.
Because like you get a message from the people of the planet you saved, and in the third one you run into if you let Balak live, he's the one that leads the Batarian fleet into the battle
Yeah.
with you, and that's how you get war assets. But to you, what's your top 3 or 5?
Honestly, I mean, out of all of them, I liked them all. The only one that I didn't like because I just thought it was
one?
well, the Hammerhead one I just thought was stupid, but it was good, but it was like it was pointless, you know.
It was just a bunch of missions to give you a reason to ride the ride.
Right, you know.
Yeah.
But the one that I just thought was long, but wasn't really rewarding, was the Overlord. Like where where the guy has the autistic. I think the brother's autistic or something like that, or has something wrong with like him. But he's able to communicate with the Geth mathematically through making sounds and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
1 + 1 = 4 square root.
right, you know, it's like that one just. It seemed like it would build up to this big thing, but it didn't. But it was so long. It was it took like 2 hours.
Well, because you had to go to that one base,
right?
And then you had to go to the other base, and it's a fucking trip to get through all that crap. And I was like, and then you get there, but both of them make an appearance in part 3.
Right, right.
Well, if
you did the right thing,
if you did the right thing, like
they both make an appearance.
Like David shows up in the Academy, Grissom Academy,
while
the other guy shows up with Jacob at the other planet of all the Cerberus
scientists
who
like defected.
Yeah, defected out. Right. I mean, it was something to do, but it wasn't worth. I don't think it was. It wasn't as good as DLC, but it was decent.
Right.
But I don't know, Bring Down the Sky, because one thing I didn't like about it, because I mean it was the Mako. I hate driving the fucking Mako. And then you gotta drive the Mako to take out the shuttle. I mean, I like the idea. You had to stop the asteroid. You're going through the thing, the asteroid, and you actually see like movement going by, and the rockets. You had to shut down the rockets.
Right.
And then you had to stop Balak. I mean, it was good. Because not that many DLC came out for the first one. You had that stupid simulation training station, and you had Bring Down the Sky for the first one.
Right.
The second one is the one that had the most DLC. The second game.
Yeah.
Out of all 3, the second one had the most. But at my top 3 is Omega. Oh wait, it was number 1 is Citadel. Second one was Omega, and the third one was the Katsumi, where you go there and you steal the stuff. You steal the memories of her boyfriend or whatever.
See, I thought that one was cool. I like Zaid's a little bit better.
Well, getting revenge off Vito.
Yeah, only
Santiago.
because you have the option of either letting him die or bringing him with you. You know, it's like you control like everything in that DLC. You know.
Well, the good thing about that one DLC because it was free.
Right.
Yeah, it was free.
Yeah.
but the Katsumi one, you paid money for. I mean, it's whatever. I really even used Katsumi anyway, or Zaid.
Well, I used her once I figured out how strong
her cloak shadow
attack was. I was like, holy shit, man! It's like you do that, and like they're like dead
instantly
pretty much.
Yeah, against normal infantry people. You do that against like a freaking a boss or like a higher heavy hitter, she goes down like nothing.
Yeah.
And that's it, guys. The whole review, discussion, and rant of the whole Mass Effect trilogy. 1, 2, and 3, and every DLC, including the new one that you just heard, the Citadel DLC, which is the final DLC to come out involving our good friend and hero, Shepard. It's just sad to see him go like that, but like every great saga, every story has an end. I just hope the next addition to the Mass Effect saga is a sequel and not a prequel, and it all depends on the choices that Shepard made from either Destroy, Synthesis, and Control. Well guys, that's pretty much it for our on-the-go review. I hope you enjoyed this really long 2-hour talk and rant, and we'll catch you up next time. Keela Salai.
If you want to know more about Templar Digital, please check out their official website at templardigital.com and show your support by liking their Facebook page at facebook.com/templardigital.